Hello guys, welcome. Today we are going to learn about literary devices. Literary devices are techniques writers use to add depth, meaning, and emotion going beyond literal language to create richer experiences. So, when you read a book, the writers are trying to make us feel, to make us live um, what they are trying to convey with their words using what literary devices. So for example, he fights like a lion. This doesn't mean like someone is a lion or is as strong as a lion. Okay, it's just a comparison that is being established by saying this. Or the wind whispers through the trees. So the wind doesn't speak. So this is about the sound the wind makes. Okay. So as the first literary device, we have metaphor. A metaphor describes an object or action in a way that isn't literally true, but helps explain an idea or make a comparison. Made a comparison, but without using the word like and as. Okay, very careful. So, if you're trying to explain something and maybe it's confusing, all the words that you're using are you think that they cannot be understood by the person who is listening to you, you can use familiar uh, words or things to try to make you understand. For example, we used metaphor to create imagery, made someone to imagine what you are saying, to explain complex ideas. Okay? If it's something very confusing, you can link the unfamiliar to the familiar. And to add emotion, metaphors can convey feelings more deeply. Okay, so it is some if it's something boring, okay, this makes us more um, emotional. Okay, for example, life is a roller coaster. This means like that life has many ups and downs. That sometimes you can live good experiences or bad experiences. Okay, time is money. So meaning that time is something that is very valuable. Okay, it's a resource that shouldn't be wasted. Okay? So be very careful how you manage your money. Then we have she has a heart of stone. She's cold. She has no feelings. Someone who is always like this. Hey, I love you. Okay. So because that person has a heart of stone. Then we have the classroom was a zoo. The students were being chaotic and loud. So see, if the classroom was or is a zoo, is because the students are a mess. They're making a mess in the classroom. They are shouting. They are running around the classroom. They are not seated. They are not paying attention. They are screaming. I don't know. Then we have simile. So simile compares two different things using the words like or as. In this case, we are going to use like or as to make the comparison. And we use it to create imagery. Remember, to make someone or someone is making us think. It's making us imagine what I am describing or they are describing to us. We use it to make emphasis, to make a point stronger. And we use it to create relatability. So they use common objects to explain unfamiliar feelings, something that is very common and familiar to try to explain something that is not familiar, unfamiliar. For example, as cool as cucumber, meaning that I'm very relaxed, I'm very calm, especially under pressure. As clear as mud, in this case, it is used as a sarcastically way to mean something is very confusing. Uh, hey, do you understand what I'm saying? Yes, of course. As clear as mud. No, I don't get it. Can you explain that to me again, please? Fight like cats and dogs. To argue or fight intensely and frequently. If you have, well, this is very common with siblings, they are always arguing, so they tend to fight like cats and dogs. Every day they are arguing about something, but that is very common. Okay. And finally, we have as light as a feather. When something is very light in weight, it is not heavy, it's the opposite. For example, I can say that this napkin is as light as a feather. Then we have imagery. So imagery uses vivid descriptive language to create mental pictures for the reader. Good imagery appeals to all five senses, making the reader feel like they are actually experiencing the scene. So the reader, if you are reading something, the imagery makes you feel like you are there, there in the scene you are reading, or the part of the book you are reading, you are experiencing it, or you are living it. Okay? And we use it to create emotional connection. It helps the reader feel what the characters feel. To create immersion, it pulls the reader into the world of the story, making it feel real. Sorry. For example, if what you are reading is describing that the character is in the woods or is in front of a big castle, okay, you can feel like you are there, whether in the book, in the woods, or in the castle. To create symbolism, sometimes imagery carries a deeper meaning. So let's go with the examples. We have here the dog felt like a fluffy cloud. So it was very soft. When you pet the dog, when you touch it, you feel it, and it's very soft. Music to my ears. Hearing news that makes you very happy. On thin ice. Being in a risky situation where one more mistake will cause trouble. If you're not behaving, someone can tell you, hey, behave yourself. You are on thin ice. You haven't been behaving recently. Okay, so I'm watching you. And finally, we have the sweet smell of success. The great feeling you get when you finally achieve a goal, something you have been wishing for a long time, and you finally accomplish it. Personification is when you give human qualities to things that aren't human, like animals, objects, or even ideas. Why do we use it? Well, we use it to create a mood. Giving an object a human emotion tells the reader exactly how to feel about sin. It makes descriptions more exciting. Because standard description can be sometimes boring, and personification adds action to things that don't move. For example, my phone died, meaning that you ran out of battery, or the battery ran out of power. Time flies. Maybe you're with your friends, you are hanging out, you're sharing, and you remember past experiences, you can say, oh, look where we are right now. Time flies. Okay? So time moves very quickly, as if it has wings, but it doesn't have wings, okay? My bed is calling my name. You are extremely tired, very exhausted. So you want to go to sleep. You want to hit the sun. And finally, we have the camera loves her. So she's very photogenic and looks great in every picture. So the camera loves her. Hyperbole is an extreme exaggeration used to make a point or show strong feeling. It is not meant to be taken literally. Very careful. So we use it to make emphasis, to emphasize, okay, or to add intensity to something, to stress a point or feeling, to add emotion, to communicate the feelings or a sense that an experience is larger than life, to add humor and drama, to create comical situations or add dramatic aptitude, making stories more entertaining. For example, I'm so hungry, I could eat a horse, or I could eat a whale. So imagine that. So you cannot eat a horse, the whole horse, no, or a whale by yourself. I'm extremely hungry and need a large meal. Okay. I've told you a million times, I'm tired of repeating the same thing. So I have reminded you many times and I am getting frustrated. This bag weighs a ton, meaning that something is very heavy, that you cannot lift it, maybe. And finally, we have he's older than the hills. Someone that is very old and it's been around for a long time. Here we have onomatopoeia. This case, this is a word that imitates or suggests the actual sound it describes. When describing the sound of something, for example, the sound that the dogs make, or a fox, or an owl, or an otter, or a whale, okay? And we use it to create realism. Instead of saying the door closed, for example, we can say the door slammed. This tells that it was a loud, heavy, and perhaps an angry sound. To add excitement, for example, in comics, it's very common that we read words like bang, pow, or sap to make action scenes feel more intense. Um, Specifically when there's a fight. And to set a mood, words like murmur and whisper create a quiet, calm mood. Words like bang and crash create a chaotic mood. For example, the snake hissed. So this is the sound that snakes make. Zzz, zzz, to warn us. The phone buzzed. This is the vibration, the vibrant sound a cell phone makes. Zzz, when you receive a call or a message or a WhatsApp. The glass shattered. If you drop a plate or if you drop a mug, a cup, or a glass of water, they break, right? So they break into tiny pieces, and if you try to pick them up, you cut yourself. So this is the sound that uh, glasses, the plates, or the mugs make when they break. And finally, we have the thunder boom. So a very loud, deep explosion sound in the sky, like a bomb. And finally, we have allusion. An allusion is a brief and indirect reference to a person, place, thing, or idea of a historical, cultural, literary, or political significance. So we use it to simplify ideas instead of saying a lot of words, phrases. We can just simplify it into short words. For example, instead of saying he's a very strong man who can do anything, you can just say he's a regular Hercules. To set a move, referring to a Garden of Eden, immediately makes the reader think of a perfect, beautiful paradise. To connect with the reader, it creates a bond because the reader feels smart for getting the reference. For example, he's a real Romeo with ladies, meaning that he is very romantic. He opened a Pandora's box. He did something that created a lot of new and unexpected problems. You can find in books that the Pandora, uh, when it was open, it created chaos in the world. I'm surprised your nose isn't growing. You're lying. I think you're lying. Like Pinocchio, for example. A good Samaritan, someone who is very compassionate and helps others. So, to finish, here we have a short story, which is The Little Fox and the Magic Forest. And here you're going to find different literary devices. So, let's begin. Once upon a time, a little fox walked through a forest. The trees were giant green towers, and the wind whispered secrets through the leaves. The fox ran as fast as a bouncing ball, excited to find something new. Birds flew overhead, chirping, tweet tweet. Suddenly, a sparkling stream appeared. The water was like a silver ribbon on the ground. The fox jumped in and splashed. He saw a tiny frog sitting on a stone. The frog looked at him and smiled as if it knew a secret. Welcome to my forest, the frog said. The fox laughed. The forest felt magical, like a place from a fairy tale. He ran farther, thinking he could jump over the moon. And from that day, the little fox knew the forest was not just trees and streams. It was a friend waiting to tell stories. So, as you can see, there are different literary devices that were used in this short story. I would like you to take notes these literary devices and try to change what you're reading here, the literary devices, okay? But with your own words, give your own meaning to the literary devices you are reading here. So that was it, guys. I hope you enjoyed this class and that you have learned a lot. Take care. Bye.